Alright, after a great deal of deliberation, we have decided that we are going to post facto, or whatever the phrase is, award the biannual Worst Video Game Movie Award for 2022 and 2023 to Five Nights at Freddy's.
Indeed. This came after some deliberation of us deciding, is Gran Turismo a video game movie?
And we came down on no. But if it had been, it probably would have won.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
But it's not a video game movie, so it doesn't win. So congratulations, Five Nights at Freddy's. You truly were the best of the worst.
Indeed. You have won the low-fat, no-fat ghetto version of the Raspberry Awards. Is that what they're called?
They're called the Razzies, or the Golden Raspberries, and I hate them.
Okay, fair enough.
But welcome to Under the Bridge, everybody.
Welcome to Under the Bridge, except for the time Halle Berry accepted her Razzie.
Okay, that was classy.
That was very funny.
It's the classiest thing that ever happened at the Razzies.
Yeah, for real.
Anyways, I'm Cody, aka the Scarlet Troll.
And I am Greg, aka Greg.
And this is our podcast where we talk news of the pop culture variety. Sometimes comic news, sometimes gaming news, pretty much always movie news, and also pretty much always a movie review. So make sure to ring the like button and smash that bell and share the video around if you're into that sort of thing, because it really does help us out, and we appreciate it.
Yes, please for our sake, razzle-dazzle all over that share button.
Oh, that sounds...
Then I've done my job.
I think you owe that button an apology.
Yeah, it's had to do with worse.
I'll expect your written apology in the morning. Alright, gaming news. We actually got a little bit, because Sony has announced their mid-generation cycle upgraded system, which is the PS5 Pro.
Yes, and it's stupid.
I mean, it does seem to have some pretty impressive accomplishments and significant upgrades over the PS5 that I ain't reading all that shit, Free Palestine, but...
And just like that, Cody has basically inherited the way of finding out about things on the internet.
I forget where I was gonna go with this. Right, the
I
PS5.
just called the PS5 Pro stupid.
You did just call that stupid. And I mean,
yes.
Look, here's the thing. The video game industry has stayed roughly consistent price-wise since it really took off.
Yeah.
Video games haven't really gone up all that much, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
So, I'd be hard-pressed to say that on some level, that stagnation of price isn't a big part of why the industry's in deep shit. There are other problems, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's just built into the framework of shareholders and the need to keep increasing profits every year or you're seen as a failure, so don't... A lot of it's inherent in the system, help, I'm being repressed, but...
Mm-hmm.
$700 when it doesn't even have the disk drive and you gotta pay for that separate? Little ridiculous!
Yes, and you also have to pay for the vertical stand that they use in all of their freaking marketing, too.
The stand isn't included!
No, and that was very, very funny, because, okay, so I didn't catch all of it because I was in the middle of doing other things, but I caught the second half of the 10-15 minute segment they had about the PS5 Pro, showing the graphical improvements and stuff like that. And at the very end, after thank you for watching this presentation, it just cuts to a picture of the Pro with the pricing on a stand, and then there's a little bit of white text at the bottom that says, vertical stand not included. And I'm just like, you have absolutely gotta be kidding me. That might actually be the greediest thing I have seen.
$700 and you can't even throw in a rinky-dink little piece of plastic.
Yeah, and for me personally, so here's the thing about the PS5 Pro for the uninitiated. The things that make the PS5 Pro its price, I do kind of get. The big thing with the Pro compared to the previous PS5 is that the two main things actually are it has 2 terabytes standard from the get-go.
That'll get you 4 whole games!
Yeah.
Jesus.
So that part is objectively good. I do actually like that part, that it has more memory. And the other thing, too, is that it has an upgraded GPU system, so that it has a better time processing games and can output games in higher general graphical fidelity. The big thing with the PS5's upgrades is that the idea is supposed to be that previously, gamers had to choose between having a graphics mode and a performance mode. And apparently, Sony actually straight up said that 75% of gamers, at least in their ecosystem, usually use the performance mode, which I thought was genuinely a very interesting stat, but I digress. So, you're supposed to be able to get both at the same time. I understand the money part of that upgrade, but the problem is that the examples they used, the improvements are definitely there, but they're mostly improvements to things that are like far off into the distance or really detailed things that most people are generally not going to notice in the middle of a hectic game session. For me, the examples they showed of like how cars looked better in the background of Spider-Man 2, or as someone who usually values frame rate anyway, so graphic fidelity doesn't really mean that much to me in all honesty, shows how compared to the normal PS5, the PS5 Pro outputs gameplay in a less choppy fashion. I'm just sitting here like, these are cool improvements and they are noticeable. They're not so noticeable that they're worth $200 more than the normal PS5 that has a disk drive, which creates, if I may kind of tangent about this, because this is something I'm surprised I don't see a lot of people can talk about, that creates kind of a weird situation, I feel like, if you're someone trying to sell the PlayStation 5 Pro. Most people who get into games, I don't think are going to really get into that level of payment. So you have the conversation of like, all right, so we have the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 Pro. What's the difference between the 5 and the Pro? Well, the Pro has better graphics. Okay, and? I mean, it has better graphics and can consistently get better frame rates. Like, all right, how much is it? It's $200 more. It's $200 more than the one with the disk drive? Yes. Do I get the disk drive? No. That's another $80. Oh yeah, and you don't get the stand. So, if you're someone who actually wants the system fully decked out, you're spending $300 more than the normal PS5, which is not a bad system on its own. The weird thing, did you watch any of the presentation, actually?
No, of course not. I didn't have it in me. I just ate.
Okay, fair. You know what? Eating is a better use of time and energy. But the weird thing about the whole presentation is just, as they're showing the comparisons between the Pro and the PS5, it's like, look at the Pro. Look at the Pro's nice graphics. Look at its better frame rate. Look at the PS5. The PS5 shit. That was the vibe I was getting from how they were talking about it.
You made this.
Yeah, I was just like, why does it feel like you guys are shitting on the thing that you made? It's the thing of, I made this? I did not make this.
Sir, hold on. This entire operation was your idea.
Yeah. It's weird. It was like a wild tone to me. I don't know. I feel like my cynicism, it absolutely hasn't done this, but I like to think of it like this. My cynicism has made me more aware of like just kind of general marketing. So it's one of those things where as I'm watching this, I'm just like, why does it sound like you guys are trying to convince people that the normal PS5 is a obsolete piece of shit? It really isn't. And for most people, the PlayStation 5 is already plenty powerful. I feel like part of the problem is that, and I've talked about this at work with my coworkers too, games have reached a point in like realism and graphical fidelity and whatever that there's not much more that can truly be accomplished at this level.
Yeah, I mean, you got them saying, oh, look at all these improved background details and things that if you look super close are gonna look much better. Bitch, I'm nearsighted. I ain't looking at that.
Yeah.
I literally can't see it.
Yeah. And I very much want to emphasize, those changes are there, and if you pay attention, they are kind of noticeable, but it's not something, like, for me, it's the thing like in racing games, and this happens a lot sometimes within the Gran Turismo community, and the sim racing community as a whole. The thing that I always see that I just don't really get are people who, like, as they're looking at the graphics, like, these graphics suck. It's like, how can you tell that? Look at how bad those trees are. It's like, why are you looking at the fucking trees while racing at over 100 miles an hour? Unless you're getting ready to... I would get it if you're, like, about to crash into the tree. Oh, I crashed into the tree. Man, this tree looks like shit.
I feel like the dedication to making graphics steadily better and more realistic is also going to be one of those things that contributes to the death of gaming as a whole, because after a certain point it becomes ridiculous and unnecessary. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but Cody, you make fun of Pokemon's graphics all the time. Yes, I do. But A, I never said I wasn't a hypocrite, and B... And I think most importantly, my disappointment with Pokemon's graphics come from the fact that they are constantly sacrificing features in the name of quote-unquote improved graphics and better models when they're the highest grossing franchise on the fucking planet. So, you know what? Yeah, I expect a little better from the highest grossing multimedia franchise on the planet. Sue me.
You know what's bad is that now resonates with me a lot more after playing a little bit of Pokemon Arceus.
Yeah.
Even though I had a good time with the tiny bit of Pokemon Arceus, as someone who generally doesn't care about graphics, let me put it to you like this. The game that I would consider has genuinely the best graphics of any game I've ever played has gameplay that is actually made worse by how good the graphics are.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's Battlefield 5. Specifically, with Battlefield 5, which is like a military shooter, the graphics and the character models were so good, and the way that colors and all that worked were so good, that with particular like character models and skins, because you could get skins in this game, it was very possible for enemy players to actually camouflage in with the surroundings, and you couldn't see them until you got shot. Which was one of those things where as soon as I realized that, for a little bit up to that point, I was like, you know what? I like having nice graphics. That game literally changed my mind so hard. It's like, no, gameplay is so much more important. That's why, not to be the whole future is now old man type of thing, but it's the big reason why I still play my PS2 games with a lot of frequency.
God, I love my PS2.
Yeah.
Anyways, I feel like the TLDR is, what the hell, Sony?
Yeah, it really is just a thing like, what the hell, Sony? Why?
Throw in the stand, at least.
Honestly, I feel like I could take or leave the stand. If you're making me spend $200 more than the current generation base console for a system that is effectively a refresh and doesn't even grant a generational jump in graphics and performance compared to previous generations, I should at least get the fucking disc drive.
Yeah.
I feel like you should eat the cost of the disc drive by default. The stand is whatever to me personally. So, yeah,
that's just like the extra squeeze of lemon in the eye to go with the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's the extra little fuck you, you know?
Yeah, and especially because, and I've actually had conversation with this with friends who deal more with PC games, it's like, if you are someone who decides to get everything, the disc drive and the stand and whatever, by the time you're finished paying taxes, and heaven forbid if you have to have it shipped to you, you're in PC territory. You are entering like entry-level PC territory, and this ain't it. No matter how good this system is, it's not that level of good.
Anyways, I got other people to shit talk today, so I'm gonna move on to that.
Oh boy.
Thank you. Now, this one is from a source that I wouldn't usually go with. Especially
BuzzFeed.
Because... No, God, no, I still have some standards.
Okay, then you're better than NPR. And I say that as someone who does actually like NPR.
But I'm only going a little bit better because it's IGN.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, apparently one of their senior editors talked to a number of former Pixar employees, ones who were laid off after the latest studio crunch, when they were desperately trying to make Inside Out 2
Electric Boogaloo
as profitable as humanly possible, including cutting out all the humans we have to pay.
Okay.
There were some very interesting things said here, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly, due to the way profit sharing is done at Disney and Pixar, for Pixar to have a movie be considered profitable, it has to hit $600 million.
I feel like that's silly.
Yeah! Really is, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's thinking like, okay, what if Pixar... I know this is kind of impossible for major animated movies, but it's like, okay, so what? If the movie has $100 million budget and it makes $400 million, it's still considered a failure, even though it turned in a substantial profit?
What a stupid... And it gets worse, because apparently the real hits are... A movie's only considered a real hit once it hits $1 billion.
That's not something that...
You can't keep doing it!
Yeah, like, the regularity of that with just regular movies is like once in a blue moon.
Y'all got so fucking lucky in 2019, just take the win.
Yeah, hold on, now I have to... So, there's only been, of all the animated movies that have ever been made, only 12, at least according to Wikipedia, have grossed over $1 billion, and it does count the 2019 Lion King as an animated movie. I hope you find that funny.
That does not count, but okay.
Yeah. Now, admittedly, the majority of those have been Disney movies, but in fact, they've all been Disney movies made over the last 15 years. But it's a thing of that's still 12 movies out of the hundreds of animated movies from Disney and otherwise that have been made over the course of time. That's once in a blue moon, guys.
The original Lion King didn't even crack $1 billion.
No, not at all. It came
the
close.
The original!
Yeah. That's just pure greed.
This just ties into the demand for constant, unchecked growth is going to be what kills the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Because it's not sustainable. You can't keep doing it. You're gonna have off years, you're gonna have times where things don't perform as well, and the solution is not write off as a failure, it's be happy with the limited success that you got, and channel that towards other things.
Or, at the very least, recognize that even if you don't make as much as last year, it's still a success, which I feel like a lot of media companies are having a really hard time understanding that concept in the post-COVID years, looking at all the layoffs at Microsoft and Sony.
Oh, but it gets worse.
Oh, does it now?
This is the really disgusting part, frankly, if this is true. Which, I'm not saying it is, but I'm not saying it's not.
Right.
Apparently, multiple sources have said that Lightyear's financial failure was blamed by Disney leadership on the same-sex kiss that they kept in the movie. That 1 second scene is allegedly the reason why that stupid-ass movie bombed. You know what? That actually makes me feel bad for making fun of Lightyear, because if I had known that they were going to be that stupid and blame it on that, I would have kept my fucking mouth shut.
You know, what's unfortunate is that part of my brain is going, it's just one of those things where I personally find this idea funny, is like, okay, yeah, but people don't know that until they pay money to see the movie. So, by that point, you've already gotten their money.
It's a failure of marketing, it's a failure of expectation, it's a failure of understanding the proper direction to take that sub-franchise. It was a bass-ackwards idea from go.
Right.
You fucked it up from inception, and I will maintain that if you had made just a schlocky 90s-style animated movie, you would have gotten a lot better results. But what the fuck do I know? I just have a podcast. But it definitely wasn't because you had a gay couple in the movie. No. I'll guarantee you that. And wouldn't you know, while I was reading some comments on this, I found the one, where they were like, yeah, but why do they gotta inject politics into everything? I'll tell you why. Specifically because it pisses you off, Cupcake.
This is the world that we live in. There's other kinds of people around us. I just made up that song on the spot. That's
good.
Thank you.
Well done. Put that in a movie, you'll get an Oscar for Best Animated Song. No money in it, but...
Yeah, but I don't think I'll get that if the movie doesn't make $1 billion, though.
Oh, yeah, you're right. What am I thinking?
Ah, crap. I didn't make $1 billion at the box office, even though I created a monumental budget. Guess I'm now financially destitute. Come here, Xbox!
No, all in all, what a sad state of affairs if that is in fact the case, because you really think that 2 seconds is gonna, is what fucked up that movie, huh?
Do you think it's a thing of, because I don't know if this, I imagine it was, but I don't know if it was the same level of issue that it was with, like, Eternals. Do you think it'd be something where it turns out someone says something, so it was like, oh, actually, no, what we meant by that is because of that kiss, we couldn't sell it in other territories. It's like, that's not better! That's not better, guys!
No, I don't think that's it. One source said, it is, as far as I know, still a thing where leadership, they'll bring up Lightyear specifically and say, oh, Lightyear was a financial failure because it had a queer kiss in it. That's not the reason the movie failed.
I mean, I feel like that's just people being tone deaf horrifically.
Yeah, no. Eternals struggled for quite a few different reasons, and that's a shame because I think Eternals was honestly one of my favorite things Marvel has done post-Endgame. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Point is, if it makes specific subsets of people mad, I say, put gay stuff in everything, frankly.
Right, all the gay stuff.
Yeah. Doesn't impact me one way or the other, but it's really funny to watch you-know-who flip their lid.
Exactly.
We also got a couple of updates on the Penguin.
Okay.
One of which is interesting. The other, I hate it.
The other, kinda gross.
A little bit. So I'll start with the good one.
Okay.
It's gross to me. Not gross in the Disney leadership thinks Pixar failed because gay kiss gross. But...
There's no Harvey Weinsteining going on in the Penguin, right?
Not as far as I know.
Alright, excellent.
I mean, I'm sure somebody in universe in that series, yes, but it related to the production of the series, I hope not.
Right.
Not that I have sources one way or the other. So, executive producer Dylan Clark said that he's actually developing another spin-off from the Batman with Matt Reeves.
Is this gonna be a freaking Avatar situation where we're like, we have another spin-off? Bro, you haven't even released the first one yet. Chill.
Avatar?
Yeah, like how they announced that either the next or the next Avatar movie before the most recent one came out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not really spin-offs, that's just sequels.
Fair.
But they were then asked if we might see a legal drama series following Harvey Dent, to which Matt Reeves responded, that was thinking certainly in the way that our conversations have gone. So, you know what, Harvey Dent series, I would still really like to focus on some Batman villains who haven't been adapted yet. That would be nice.
Yeah, but that's hard. We can't make money as easily.
He's got a lot of them.
I mean, that's what I feel like the answer is there. Well, the question at that point becomes, who do you think they would get as Harvey Dent if they end up doing it?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't even dare to speculate. But, I mean, to be fair, the Batman movies have had a lot of villains actually see use, even if some of them were in very limited capacity. But I would like to point out, I mean, we've gotten Joker in pretty much every continuity, which, fine, fair, yep, I get it. We've gotten Riddler twice. We've gotten Penguin twice. We've gotten Two-Face twice. We've gotten Bane twice, technically.
Are you counting like the Harley Quinn show?
No, I'm counting Batman and Robin.
Oh! Right. Okay.
We've gotten Ra's al Ghul once. Ra's al Ghul? I can never remember how to pronounce it.
Einzul Gone.
Einzul Gone once. We've gotten Poison Ivy once. Victor Freeze once. Catwoman several times. Although, I guess to be fair, Catwoman's not really... No, wait. Technically, we got Penguin 3 times.
Oh, okay.
Technically, we got Riddler 3 times. Batman 66. But yeah, no, okay. Harvey Dent series, whatever. Hit me with it. I like the Batman, but I'll admit, it also took a hit after the second update. Which is that they decided for the Penguin series that the Penguin's real name needed to undergo a change to be more grounded and more realistic.
Why? Cobblepot is his fucking name. What did they change it to?
Well, instead of Oswald Cobblepot, his name is now just Oz Cobb.
That's fucking stupid. That sounds
dumber!
That sounds so much worse.
That sounds even more ridiculous. That sounds like a Pokemon. It's like, I choose you, Ozcobb.
Ozcobb whips out a machine gun.
And an umbrella.
Takes out his umbrella, machine guns every Pokemon around him. Pikachu's dead. Charmander's dead. Ash Ketchum is dead, and then just gets in his bright purple Maserati and drives the fuck off.
I'm going to hell.
Yes, we are.
Okay, this is where the Batman universe's desire to feel more grounded and like a more down-to-earth take on the character is getting a little fucking ridiculous. Because, for fuck's sake, there's nothing wrong with the name Oswald Cobblepot.
Yeah. There really
I swear to fuck. I understand, to an extent, changing Riddler's name, because, you know, he's usually Edward Nygma, but they made him Edward Nashton in this one. But I get it, because Edward Nygma's a stupid fucking gimmicky name.
Yeah.
I understand. It's the kind of thing, I think depending on the continuity, sometimes that's a name he chooses for himself after he takes on the Riddler identity. But in any case, I get that one. But Oswald Cobblepot is fine, and even if you think it's not, Oz Cobb is not a great improvement.
Yeah. It
sounds like a fucking underwear company. It's my Oz Cobb bagosh.
Yeah, with an underwear company with its special edition Pokemon garments.
Ugh. That's really frustrating to me.
Mm.
That's just such a tone-deaf, I'm afraid to be making a superhero-adjacent show take.
Mm.
And in 2024, that's a little fucking ridiculous.
Right.
I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to the days where we didn't get superhero costumes. Give me the stupid shit. Not always, because sometimes there is some stupid shit that just doesn't work. I acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm.
Strict fidelity to the source material is not always the way to go.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time when you're adapting something, being afraid of the thing you're adapting also isn't a good play.
Mm.
If Mr. Freeze shows up, they're gonna have to change his name too. Then I bet.
Wait, what's Mr. Freeze's name again?
Victor Freeze.
Yeah, they would have to change that. That's also a really dumbass comic book name.
I mean, it's an actual name. It doesn't fucking. It's only funny because he's Mr. Freeze.
Have you met anyone with the last name of Freeze?
It's spelled Fries.
Damn it! Okay, that gets a pass then.
No, it's an actual name. It might be pronounced Fries. I don't fucking know. If anything, that's sillier, though.
Yeah, it's like, hi, I'm Victor McDonald's.
Actually, you know what? That makes it perfectly ironic. The dude's name is Fries, and then he becomes an ice-based supervillain. I love that. I love that a lot.
Can I get a side of freeze with that shake? Shut the fuck up! And then just, like, freezes the person to death. Oh, that's... That's really unfortunate, because if someone has that last name, they probably, unfortunately, got bullied at school.
Probably. Let's go to trailer time.
Let's do trailer time.
It's trailer time again! We've got movie previews to watch! It's trailer time again! Well, we got a couple trailers I felt like talking about. We did get a new trailer for The Wild Robot, but that's out in 2 weeks, so I don't care.
Right.
Why do they keep doing this?
What, just a final trailer right before the movie comes out?
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah.
Anyways, the thing we actually got. We got a final trailer for... I think it's a final trailer. I hope it's a final trailer for Venom: The Last Dance. They're doing it. They're blowing their wad on Null. I can't fucking believe it.
So who is Null?
Oh, I kind of want to save that for a poorly explained comics, but...
Okay.
To give you a basic rundown... He is one of, 10,000 primordial darkness gods who existed in the void before the universe took shape. He is the creator of the symbiotes. He's a relatively recent thing. I think they only made him in the last 10 years or so. And the main thing he's notable for is the King in Black event, where he launches a symbiote dragon invasion of Earth. Dr. Doom and Iron Man team up to save Santa Claus from being infested by a symbiote.
That is the most insane sentence I think I've ever heard you mutter, by the way.
Well, to be fair, he might not actually be Santa Claus. They never reached a conclusion, but I think it's pretty heavily implied at the end that he's Santa.
Dr. Doom and Iron Man save Santa Claus from infection.
It turns out that Captain Universe, the Enigma Force, is actually a light symbiote in opposition to the dark symbiotes created by Null. And then Eddie, I think, overwhelms Null with an axe made out of the Silver Surfer's surfboard, the Enigma Force, and Mjolnir. It was pretty fucking metal.
What the fuck, dude?
And not just because of all the metal.
That's insane.
But we're never gonna get any of that. Because Sony doesn't have the rights to all the Marvel characters other than Spider-Man stuff, and Marvel doesn't have Null. So
I hear all of this, but I just want to really quickly caveat, because I decided to just look up Santa Claus on the Marvel comic wiki. And with that, went to Mrs. Claus's page in Earth 616, and she has by far and away the most gangster profile pic for a character I have ever seen.
Oh, I gotta see this.
Hold on.
What the hell?
It's like, I got Mrs. Claus with the gat.
Why is Mrs. Claus packing heat? What the fuck?
She's like, this is my North Pole defense weapon. What even is that? Is that just a straight up shotgun, or is that like a magic shotgun?
I don't fucking know. How would I know?
I was not ready for that, in all honesty.
I'm just looking at a picture of a shotgun. How the fuck am I supposed to tell if it's magic or not? What am I supposed to do? Get shot with it? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's something.
So, anyways, back to Venom. Still looks dumb.
Yes.
Chemistry still looks good. They're really hammering in that this is like the end of the Venom movies, which I doubt, because I'm sure they'll do more.
I feel like, if with any luck, it'll be the end of the Venom movies, but it's by no way, shape, or form the end of the character. I'm just trying to figure out which one will survive. One or both of them is going to survive this movie.
So I think, and this is just based on rumors and hearsay, because now there's alleged rumors going around from leakers, so who fucking cares, but
Yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah, the scuttlebutt, though, is that Spider-Man 4 is going to feature Spider-Man and Venom teaming up to deal with Null, which is interesting since he's in this movie. So I wonder if maybe Venom, the symbiote, uses his connection to the little piece he left behind in 616 to jump into that universe to get away from Null, but then Null follows him.
Yeah, that would be something.
I'd hate every second of it.
Wait, is the MCU actually called 616 now?
Fuck me! Even I'm doing it now! Damn it! Fuck!
Because I thought it was still Earth number not 200,000.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I was to say, if that actually changed, I would join you in being livid.
I gotta fucking rinse my mouth out with soap after this.
That's something.
I'm going to hell for that one.
I just want to know how they come up with these designations.
Iman Vellani, forgive me.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Mm.
But yeah, no, that's where I think this is going. And also, Null is literally too big for this movie.
Right. Like, as far as importance and whatnot.
Yeah, which is crazy to say, considering, again, he's less than a decade old. But, at least in terms of publishing history. But, he deserves to be better than just the conclusion of a Venom trilogy. Especially when, who knows, that Venom trilogy might just be the next to last chapter of the entire Sony Spider-Man universe. Because you notice, they haven't announced any other projects after Kraven.
Oh, that's true. That's an interesting
thought. Yeah, we have no idea of immediate plans after that.
Okay.
Now, I have a really disgusting idea.
Oh, boy.
Maybe they were like, okay, you have to let us do our stupid idea, and then we'll let you buy back the Spider-Man rights, and you have to help us with our stupid idea and cram it into your multiverse saga.
I could see that. I could very much see that. I could see that being a way for Sony to just get a small fuck you before getting a monumental payout for it.
Yeah, it's Sony. I could see a scenario where Sony basically says, okay, we did our big hurrah, and therefore we think we've done most of what we can with Spider-Man at this point, so you guys can have him back. After they've already tanked this current iteration.
Right.
Because they've stolen so many of the good villains. They keep butting into stuff. They force No Way Home. And I like No Way Home. But I still maintain I would have preferred a grounded, exploring the fallout of Far From Home, Spider-Man Fights Kraven movie.
Right.
I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm very glad we got Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire back. I still think I would have preferred Spidey vs. Kraven.
Right.
But that's just me. At least we only have, a month or so left for this one?
Yeah, something like that.
The end is coming. Can't you feel it?
The end is nigh.
Anyways, we also got a trailer for Your Monster, starring Melissa Barrera.
This looks great. This looks really funny.
It looks pretty good, and yet it doesn't quite... I don't have the same tingle I did for Lisa Frankenstein, you know?
Fair.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the fact that this monster is more evidently a jerk.
So, the vibe I'm getting from this trailer is that the monster is actually something in her subconscious. Like, it's not actually there.
Oh, you think it's a grief hallucination or something of the such?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I would hope that it's not that. I would hope maybe, if anything, it's just a vehicle to do the whole, symbolism of, getting over grief and whatnot. But that's a little bit of the vibe I get from it. I do agree that it doesn't have the same, kind of general, oh my god, we're going nuts vibe as Lisa Frankenstein does. It kind of feels like Lisa Frankenstein if it was somehow more melodramatic, but also more grounded at the same time.
I'll agree to that. It probably is that zany factor. That's the thing that's missing.
Yeah,
that's a little extra something, the little icing on the cake.
So, I'm not sure if I've ever mentioned this, but the scene in, just total caveat, the scene in Lisa Frankenstein where Lisa puts the ear back on Dylan Sprouse and just screams into his ear to test if the ear is connected or not, while also having the dumbest smile ever. That scene lives rent-free in my head.
The one that lives rent-free in my head is, no, we can't. Not until we bury the body.
That's a close second just because it was a horrendous tonal shift at that point.
I love it so much. But, yeah, no, this still looks interesting.
Yeah.
I am curious to see if it turns out, like, is the monster just a hallucination? If she snaps and kills her ex, and it turns out the monster was just a metaphor for her declining health, mental and physical, I think that'll be really interesting.
Definitely be different, especially with her talking about, it's like, I still love you and I really don't want to. It's like, hey, that's a great vehicle to just commit some grief murder.
Yeah. I'm a mess. You're not a mess. Just look at me. I am looking at you at the back and in the face. I could not be looking at you more.
Yeah. I also resonated with the whole thing of, for her basically saying, like, I'm ugly. You're not ugly. I'm a total failure. Oh my god. I feel that to my core.
Ugh, man. No, I'm looking forward to this. This does look interesting. And who knows? The fact that I'm not looking forward to it as much as Lisa Frankenstein means it has room to surprise me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, Lisa Frankenstein's still my second favorite movie that came out this year, but...
Right.
Well, okay, technically it's my favorite movie that came out this year, but it's my second favorite movie that got an accessible release this year, because it's still Hundreds of Beavers up at the top, but...
Oh, yeah.
That is not going to be easy to dislodge. That is just... Let's go to box office.
Let's do the box office.
We did see the highest grossing movie domestically this weekend.
Oh, did we?
Last weekend, because it's still Beetlejuice.
Okay, I was finna say, like, that would be horrific. Very funny, but a horrific damning of Beetlejuice.
Yeah, no, Beetlejuice. There, I said it right. Took in $51.35 million domestically this weekend, for a $187.75 million domestic total and $264.25 million worldwide. Again, that is against a $100 million budget, so seems like it's doing pretty good.
Alright, cool. It's at very least starting to make a profit.
Yeah, which good for it, because again, the fact that, as somebody who surprisingly is not in love with the original Beetlejuice, the fact that this does not feel significantly worse than the first one, despite the almost 40-year gap, is pretty spectacular on its own.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the movie we actually did see this weekend, The Killer's Game, that took 6th place.
Oh, really?
And it's a very unfortunate 6th. $2.69 million domestic weekend and total. No worldwide release info yet, but it's against a $30 million budget.
Oh, yeah. I feel like this is going to be another Devotion situation, isn't it?
Probably. I'm not saying I regret seeing this instead of Speak No Evil, but Speak No Evil took 2nd, and now I'm wondering if I missed something.
Really?
Yeah, I might have to try and check it out.
Well, in fairness, Speak No Evil, at minimum, had more than one trailer. We just got the same trailer for Killer's Game for, like, months.
We got the same trailer for Speak No Evil over and over again, too. That was part of why I didn't want to see it. I was sick of it.
Fair.
But apparently I missed out on something. And I'd say, yeah, maybe I'll try and check it out this weekend, but unfortunately this weekend is fucking packed!
Right.
But we'll get to that. Anyway, we saw The Killer's Game, directed by J.J. Perry, and starring, among other people, Dave Bautista, Sofia Boutella, and Terry Crews.
Right.
And it's pretty fun.
It's mindless fun. There's no gravitas. There's no insert Joker subheading. It
doesn't have that je ne sais quoi.
It does not have that je ne sais quoi, thank you. This is not peak cinema by any stretch of the imagination whatsoever. This really is just a dumbass, fun, fairly gory movie.
Yeah, but when you watch someone hit Dave Bautista with a bike, you're not really expecting avant-garde cinema.
Yeah, no.
A really interesting examination on the importance of managing expectations, if anything.
Starring Dave Bautista.
Yeah. Because Dave Bautista, he is a hitman. In fact, he is the best of the best.
Right.
He is professional. He is composed. He never kills innocent people. Only the worst of the worst. Only those who are clear to the rules of the game. In the course of a job, he ends up kind of sort of accidentally saving a ballerina. Is she does she count as a ballerina? What's the exact style of dance? Is that ballet? I feel like that's ballet.
You're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I'm not a danceologist, so let me know if you saw, let me know in the comments.
Exactly.
He ends up accidentally saving this dancer, and in the process of returning her phone to her, she asks him out. They form a connection. Also, interestingly, I was off by how big the age gap was, because I thought we were looking at like 20 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Bautista's 55, and it turns out Sofia Boutella is 42.
Oh, wow. She looks
Right?
great.
I mean, Dave Bautista doesn't look shabby for 55 either.
No, not at all. They both look good, but damn.
Yeah, no. Impressive all around.
Mm-hmm.
So they end up in a whirlwind romance. Dave Bautista, who's his character Joe Flood, decides to retire from being a killer so he can settle down. But he keeps having headaches and dizzy spells and double vision. He is told that he has some kind of degenerative disease that's going to kill him within 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So, wanting to spare his girlfriend, who he has never told about his
profession,
wanting to spare her both the truth of what he does and the agony of watching him go through this horrible state of palliative care, which is the best they can do, he decides to put a hit out on himself. And to do that, because his handler, or former handler, won't, he decides to go to Palm Clementief's character, Antoinette, who hates him because he killed her dad.
Mm-hmm.
And she very happily puts a hit out on him. Only then he finds out he's not dying. Misdiagnosis, lab results got switched. And Antoinette refuses to call the contract off, so he now has to figure out how to get out of that.
Weird, crazy deaths, explosions, learning too much about what turns on Antoinette ensue.
You say too much. I say, yeah, probably too much.
I mean, some people out there are probably like, no, I need more. I haven't had enough.
No shame. Whatever gets you through the night.
Right.
One way or another. Yeah, no, this is a silly, dumb movie.
Yes.
But it's a prime example of how style counts for a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And presentation counts for a lot. And the presentation is pretty damn good. This is a funny movie. The action's not even really what interests me the most about it, so much as some of the camera shots.
Yeah, there's a lot of good cinematography. There's a good 3 or 4 minutes segment of just some of the best scene segues I've ever seen in a film.
They run really hard on the paint with some of these transitions.
Yes. I feel like the I mean, everyone who's in this movie, I feel like is having a pretty good time, but the people in charge of cameras are having an extremely good time.
And editing.
Quite. Also, apropos of nothing, just because I don't remember it being mentioned at any point in the movie, apparently Antoinette's first name is Mariana. So we have a Marie Antoinette pun going on right now.
Oh. That doesn't mean anything as far as I know.
It absolutely does not.
I mean, I guess ultimately, that's a spoiler, but no, this is a weird movie where so many of the characters get intro cards and extended, it's like they get their own little mini trailers.
That aspect of the movie felt like someone crossed John Wick with the original Suicide Squad. How we would get title cards for all the characters.
Oh god, you're right!
Yeah.
Except I don't hate this one.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
That's pretty nuts.
Yeah, it's usually the thing of don't reference your movie with another potentially better movie. It's like, well, it's okay with this because this is better than Suicide Squad. 2016 Suicide Squad. I need to correct myself from saying the whenever I talk about these movies.
For the Suicide Squad in particular, just because that is the thing that differentiates it from the previous movie.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's having a good time.
Ben Kingsley's in this!
Yes, he is, and he's great.
I didn't even realize! Yeah, no, he's good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ben Kingsley's good in most things.
Mm-hmm.
Even in Iron Man 3.
You know, I forgot. Granted, it's also because it's been so long since I've watched Iron Man 3, I forgot he was in Iron Man 3.
Yeah, no, he's the fake Mandarin.
Yeah. A lot of the fights are pretty fun and a little ridiculous. I mentioned earlier this movie's kind of gory. It's almost Hellsing levels of gore, in the sense of the way they do the gore and whatever in Hellsing Ultimate is so horrifically cartoonish that it's just like, oh, this just doesn't even register. They really go that route when it comes to gore in this film. Now, if you don't like gore, if you have a constitution or anything like that, I highly recommend that you do not watch this movie.
Really? Because there wasn't much in here where I was the least bit uncomfortable.
There wasn't anything that made me uncomfortable, but I could see a couple particular ones being, okay, yeah, I could see someone checking out from that. The motorcycle, which was at least hinted at in the trailer, so I feel like it's fine to give that away. The motorcycle scene in particular is like one I just couldn't see somebody like, oh god.
Huh.
But that's also just me. That might be me being unnecessarily precautious, potentially.
No, I don't even remember. I don't remember what that was. If anything, I would think that one I'll get into later. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't think of anything in the motorcycle scene that was particularly.
No, the motorcycle title card.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I've seen too many movies like this now.
That'd be something.
And I'm just like, this is fine.
Yeah, no. Granted, I don't know, you sat through Evil Dead Rise and all, so...
Yeah, but that one actively made me uncomfortable.
Okay, fair.
I have not watched that since, and I don't know that I ever will. And I liked it. I liked that movie.
Alright, so that movie has become your Hereditary, then. What Hereditary is to me.
Hereditary is still that for me. It's just... Evil Dead Rise is also that for me.
Alright, so now... I think I only have... Well, granted... As far as movies that I enjoyed / thought were good that I have no desire to ever watch again, so far Hereditary is the only one in that category. So that's just me. Because I was gonna say Night Train, and I realized no, I don't think Night Train was a particular, or not Night Train.
Bullet Train?
No, the one with the train with the last bits of humanity on it.
Oh, Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer. That's one. Where
Night Train.
I realized what I said. It's like, no, it's not Night Train. Yeah, that movie has one particular scene where I'm just like, I never want to watch this whole movie again, and then I watch the rest of the movies. I don't really care for this movie overall.
Terry Crews also turns in a good performance here.
Oh, Terry Crews is a very good time in this movie. I would honestly say, in the bits that he's in, he kind of steals the show.
Yeah, honestly, he might be my favorite character in this.
Yeah, I would say so.
Huh. But also, every assassin in this, except really Dave Bautista, who's a lot more grounded in a sense.
Yeah.
But the rest of them all feel like they could be one-and-done villains in some cheesy action show.
All of the hitmen and all the other side characters are all cartoon characters.
Yeah.
One of the guys in particular, the one who dances and whatever, he feels like someone straight up out of an Acme cartoon.
Yeah, Botas.
Yeah, Botas.
He had a good intro though.
Oh, he had a phenomenal intro. He still feels like he came out of an episode of Roadrunner.
Yeah. Dave Bautista also does a good job. It's not one of his more knockout performances, but he's still good. I mean, he's pretty much the only thing I liked in Knock at the Cabin, so...
Yeah, no, he was definitely the best thing about Knock at the Cabin. There was not really much questioning that, in my opinion.
Ironically, that was probably one of his best performances. And it's not the same here, but I mean, for a Dave Bautista action role, it's still solid.
Oh, quite. It was still a very good time watching him just muck about and what have you.
There's a couple of points where you roll your eyes and go, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, of course he can. But it's not to the same extent that you might recoil like you would with a similar scene from The Rock or Vin Diesel. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Really, I don't know that there's that much to say that's not a spoiler, because yeah. It's a silly, fun time.
It's a silly, mindless, fun time.
Relationship's a little too perfect.
You think so?
A little bit. There's a few things here and there where it's just, okay, yep, this is because we need the movie to go along, okay, yep.
Yeah, or a particular thing is like, this is our character development, it's like, this is some weird character development, but we'll get into that.
Spoiler section?
Spoiler section.
Yeah, alright. I think it's worth seeing, but only if you're into dumb, fun action movies that don't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna hate it.
Yeah, very much so.
It goes at itself just tongue-in-cheek enough that it doesn't bother me too much. Despite some things that really ought to make me angrier than they do.
Fair.
So with that being said, if you don't want to get spoiled on The Killer's Game, make sure to click away in 3, 2, 1. The sniper shot transitioning into Sofia Boutella's character Maisie flipping her hair in rehearsal. That was fucking good.
Oh, that was very sexy. That was an excellent transition.
And not just because of Sofia Boutella, the camera work and the editing and just the transition of the scene is the sexy part.
Quite.
And then not even 2 minutes later, there's the bit where he goes to hit somebody with the wine bottle, and then it cuts to the same bottle just being poured out into a glass. That was good.
That was very good. That whole segment, which happens within, I want to say, like the first 20-ish minutes, so you don't have to go very far for it to happen. If there's anything in this movie that's peak, it's that shit.
Yeah, come to think of it, this movie actually takes a bit to get to the part where he puts a hit out on himself.
Yeah.
Which I guess kind of works to its advantage because it does get you invested in the relationship because you get to see it unfold and because you get to see how Joe interacts with his one friend who is his boss, who has one of my favorite lines in this movie, which is, "Leave judgment to God, we just arranged the meeting."
Yeah! That was very good. That was very funny.
There was a line very early on that stuck with me, and it was Joe's first target that we see in the movie, saying, "Maybe a single moment of beauty can redeem a life of ugliness," and then Joe says, "No, it can't," and then shoots him.
While we see our Mark also slowly reaching for his weapon, too.
Yep. It's a good line, and I actually do kind of like how the movie... It's hard to say whether it proves Joe wrong on that, because you could argue that his whole character arc and development is proving that wrong, but the thing is, he doesn't show an awful lot of regret for what he did, because of the fact that he kills really terrible people.
The kind of feeling I got from that was that kind of showing with a line like that is like, alright, he's deep into this whole hitman thing, but they try to kind of sort of walk it back a tiny bit, going into the whole thing. The people we go after are like criminals, the worst of the worst, because his first mark is a known sex trafficker. And how they talk about it's like, yeah, the rules of the game are like, we only go after criminals, we don't get civilians, women, children, or anything like that mixed up in our work.
Not that it stops some people, like Lovedoll.
Yeah, like... I mean, in fairness, oh, wait, you know what? That's a fair point! I thought you were referencing the bed scene, and I realized, no, that's literally the plot device of the second half of the movie, and there's no consequences for that whatsoever.
Yeah, no, Lovedoll kidnaps Sophia Boutella as leverage to get Joe to come out. And it's even lampshaded in the movie, because at one point, he calls Joe, and then mentions there are reinforcements coming, and Joe says, "Well, can you help me out with them? That'd be unethical. And kidnapping my woman isn't? I'm morally flexible."
Yeah.
But that just feels like you broke the rules, and you're never really taken to task for it.
Yeah, no, which is completely fucking wild. Not as wild as the whole thing, because in usual things, we're jumping all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Not as wild as Ben Kingsley, because with their relationship, with Joe and Maisie's relationship and all that, they're getting real serious and all. And Ben Kingsley tells Joe, it's like, hey, you should tell her what you do. I told my wife, if she loves you, she'll understand.
Or go to the police.
Yeah, I don't know about that, dog. If I found out that the person I loved and really cared for and all that had a wonderful life was actually a very prolific pit woman or what have you, I would be like, alright, this doesn't kill it, but it does get 90% of the way there, if I'm being honest.
This doesn't kill it, but this does put it on life support.
This puts it on life support, much like your victims.
Oh no, his victims are just dead.
Yeah.
He's a professional, don't you know?
Yeah. And that's assuming that the person in question is genuinely perfect and is not horrible for anything outside of things that you would expect a normal human being to do. If there's an argument or whatever, it's like, yeah, no, that's what people do. But that's 90% killed if they're perfect. Anything more than that is probably like, alright, I need you to get the fuck out. Or better yet, I'll just call the cops. 'Cause holy shit.
I guess maybe Lovedoll's punishment for the movie is having to deal with Antoinette's cousin as his driver.
Oh my god, I wanted to punch him in the face immediately.
He's so stupid and he's so bad at the job that he claims he wants, and it's just hilarious watching this. I don't want to call Lovedoll a consummate professional, because, again, kidnapped Joe's wife.
Yeah.
But he's much more professional, and watching him try to do his thing while dealing with this moron, who, when they go to kidnap Maisie, she basically knocks him on his ass, and Terry Crews has to do all the work.
Yeah, and then steals his car.
And then steals his car later.
Steals his car, runs over Terry Crews with Dipshit's car, and when Terry Crews gets up, he's like, what happened? She said she had to let her leg wake back up, so I just let her out.
No, she hit me with a branch. Where'd she get a branch?
To be fair, that was an extremely convenient branch.
It was very convenient.
Yes, followed up by dipshit little cousin. I was like, you know what? I don't think this is the life for me. And he's just like, this is the first intelligent thing you have said this entire time.
Which is correct. Which is actively correct.
Yes, that was a very correct statement on Terry Crews' part.
Deeply satisfying.
And then, of course, it leads in the whole thing of Maisie steals Dipshit's car and uses it to rescue Joe, at which point they have a conversation about what's happening. He goes, it's like, Maisie, I'm a hitman. Oh, you don't fucking say.
Well, yeah, because Lovedoll told her about it, so it's not a...
He told her about it, and she actually has the conversation. He's like, no, it's fine. I only kill, criminals and stuff like that. I'm just, no, fuck you. It's still objectively horrible.
And honestly, the most frustrating part of the movie is that she reacts to this with, we'll talk about it, we'll figure this out. It's like, oh, you are significantly more understanding than I would be, and I tip my hat to you, ma'am.
Yeah, either that or it turns out that she is also horrifically messed up, too.
I mean, she did kill that one guy.
Very violently, yes.
But he was an asshole, so...
Yeah, and he had it coming to her. Of course, preceding that kill was I would call it too long if it wasn't for how great it all was. Following a long bit of the movie where it turns out that Maisie gets shot, and Joe ends up patching her wound and carrying her to a local church, at which point they're greeted by the greatest priest on the planet.
He's pretty damn good. Because he reacts to the whole thing with, I don't know about any of this. And so Joe proposes, asks the priest to marry them there, and he's like, okay, we need to take confession at this point. And Joe just apparently has been explaining his entire history of killing people for money. And he goes, and that brings us up to the last couple of months.
Which, in fairness, Joe gives him a warning. He goes, ooh, I don't know if I have that kind of time right now. And then the priest's like, oh, we'll make time, with just a genuine smile on his face. And then immediately following that is Joe giving confession, with the priest having a look of, why did I agree to this?
Oh dear God, what have I done?
What have I fucking done? I have never heard so much sin and what have you from one person in such a short amount of time. All of the killing and whatnot, it's like, okay, well, the last couple ones weren't kills. They were self-defense, so, you know.
Which I'm with him on. I'm with him on that.
Yeah, I'm with him on that, too. But he's like, killing is bad. I was like, you will no longer kill. Yeah, but there might be some more self-defense in a little bit.
You did ask me for this. I wish I kept my mouth shut, to be honest.
Yeah. And then followed by Joe going, okay, are we good? And then, okay, yeah, we're good.
I absolve you.
I don't know who plays that priest, but he is great. That actor
really
is phenomenal.
And then the priest gets shot in the shoulder. He ends up living, and thanks to Joe paying to renovate the church, partly as a result of the destruction rained down on it by the hitmen who are after him, but he thanks the priest for his understanding, and he just goes, oh, paying for the repairs certainly didn't hurt. How's the shoulder? It fucking hurts.
Yeah. And then just waving, I was like, it's good to see you. Pats him on his bad shoulder, just goes, ah!
You know what? Okay, going way back. I remember the thing where I'm like, oh, you know what? That's actually unpleasant. And it's the Korean hit squad who comes after Joe. Their deaths are pretty horrific.
Their deaths suck.
Because one gets her throat slit along an entire bar of broken glass.
Yeah.
One gets kicked so hard she loses some teeth.
And then dies to a bouncing Betty.
Yep, and then the leader of the hit squad ends up getting a throwing teardrop-shaped weapon embedded in his head. That part's difficult. That I probably should have amended that in the non-spoiler section, but that's a little hard to watch.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, and then, of course, the most satisfactory thing of this, because the whole reason why everything's gone to shit is because when Joe realizes he's not actually going to die, Antoinette refuses to lift the contract, and when Joe keeps on killing the people that she's sending after him, she eventually hires mercenaries led by her, if we're being honest, pet, played by...
Yeah, I forget his name, but...
Yeah, apparently his name is Angus Mackenzie.
No, that's one of the Scottish guys.
Oh, is that one of the Scottish guys?
Yeah.
Oh, that is one of the Scottish guys. Okay, so the thing is that the actor, Scott Adkins, who plays him, but he doesn't have any facial hair in his picture there, so I'm like, oh, that has to be the bodyguard. So yeah, that's fair. But hires her boyfriend...
So you're telling me all I need to trick you into thinking I'm not me is a fake mustache? That's all it takes, huh?
I didn't say that explicitly. But yeah, so she ends up hiring her boyfriend's mercenaries to go after Joe, at which point...
Ben Kingsley shows up.
Yeah, Ben Kingsley shows up and it's just like, wait, you can't run. You broke the rules. You hired mercenaries on a job.
Bam, shoots her.
This is the same shit that your father did, and that's why he died.
Okay, you know what? There is one thing about this movie that really bothers me besides the relationship thing.
Mm-hmm.
The Mackenzie brothers, throughout the whole movie, most of their dialogue is subtitled.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
I think it's because the whole thing of the gimmick for these guys is that they have really thick Scottish accents and use a lot of Scottish slang. But their Scottish accents are by far and away the farthest from like the thickest Scottish accent I have ever heard. And B, what they said, I feel like it's pretty easy to fill in, even if you're not familiar with the slang and all that.
And it's even weirder because the subtitles stop partway through.
Yeah.
So I thought what it was they were building to some kind of joke with the subtitles, and they never do. I was very frustrated by it, because that feels like the kind of thing where you have to do something with the subtitles. Either he goes on one long-winded rant and the subtitles boil it down to something very small and simple, or he fires off something so unintelligible that even the subtitles are just question marks. Something! Come on, you can't just put that gimmick in there for no discernible reason, because they're not that hard to understand. If you want to make the subtitle joke work, you had to really ramp it up.
Right, yeah.
And the fact that I'm so fixated on this minor thing should tell you that I did like this movie quite a bit.
Yes.
Because, fuck, it's frustrating.
This movie was an extremely good time.
I miss Billy Connolly. Is he dead? I'm pretty sure he's dead.
I'm not sure if I'm
When
honest.
did Brave come out? He's still alive!
Oh, really?
Huh! Well, fuck me, alright, I don't miss Billy Connolly. He's still in it.
Good.
Great! Awesome! I needed that today. We got anything else?
Not that I can think of.
So yeah, in short, this is still a definitely go see it movie. Fun time.
Yes.
There's a couple of bits that get me, but on the whole, I certainly didn't come to this looking for a realistic, grounded experience, and I didn't get that, so... I'm pleased.
Quite.
And with that should about wrap this up for this week. So let me say thanks for watching, everybody. Next week, we pretty much have to see Transformers 1.
Yeah, we have to see Transformers 1.
Because we watched Transformers the movie for Cinema Synergy. Sorry for the spoiler. But... but I have a real dilemma, because Never Let Go is also that weekend.
Oh, right.
And The Substance is also that weekend.
Isn't the Spider-Man, or not this, isn't the Superman biographical movie also this weekend too?
Saturday, but there's also showings on Wednesday, so I might try to shoot for 4 p.m. on Wednesday.
Okay.
Next Wednesday, rather. Not this Wednesday.
Right.
But, yeah, so I'm not super concerned about...
Well done.
Totally on accident. I'm not very concerned about catching this one for the podcast, because realistically speaking, I was never really planning on covering it for the podcast. But regardless of what we end up seeing, this has been Under the Bridge with Cody, aka the Scarlet Troll.
And with Greg, aka Greg.
And we'll catch you all next week.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye!